I love video games, and I have for a while. I mean, it's probably pretty obvious. I don't exactly look like an athlete. Now, Super Mario 64 was one of the first video games I ever played to completion, and the first console I actually owned was a GameCube. My parents got it for me for my 11th birthday. But this channel is more about music than video games, which brings me to the Nintendo DS and WarioWare DIY. Now, the WarioWare series of games features tons of mini-games, and with WarioWare DIY, Nintendo let players make their own. Now, I got this game in 2010. Here's a deeply complex game that I made 10.5 years ago. I'm a programmer, but the game also featured a music-making function, and that's what I want to talk about. So let's take a look. So what are we looking at here? In WarioWare DIY, your song is made up of 8-beat phrases, so if I highlight this first one and tap Edit, we can look at the individual notes of each phrase. So the phrase is made up of 4 monophonic instrument tracks and then a single rhythm track that can play 4 voices at once, so 8 sounds total. You can also choose from a bunch of instrument sounds, ranging from the expected to the slightly less expected. Entering notes is done on this piano roll, so if I start tapping here, we'll be able to add some notes, and then I can erase them as well. And then the notes are entered as 16th notes. Let's go down a couple tracks to track 3 and get our vibraphone going. So this is what our phrase sounds like right now. And if I wanted to, I could add some notes. Sorry, it's a little tricky from this angle. Like I mentioned, each phrase is 8 beats long, so if we tap on this little page forward, page back button, we'll get to go to the next page and see the next 4 beats in our 8-beat phrase. So let's say I want to add some more notes here. And now when I hit play, and just for some fun, we can look at some other instrument sounds. So if I tap on here, there's a couple different vocal sounds. There's also the baby and laughing for some reason. But then you also have normal instrument sounds like a saxophone, a wood flute, a flute, the melodica. Now, let's say that we were done. This was the way we wanted the song to be. If I leave from there, I can hit finish, pow. And when it says ship it, I'll hit yes. And now we're going to see what I would consider to be one of the killer features of WarioWare DIY, which is something that both Ableton and FL Studio lack, which is that it's now going to let me design what I want my album to look like. Ooh, star. Let's make it yellow with a red lightning bolt. Yeah, that's cool. All right. That's a good description. I'm just gonna put it in this folder. Okay. Oh, look at that. It is already going to soars. So, yeah, FL Studio and Ableton need to catch up. And speaking of that, let's go look at some of the music I've got on here, actually. Now I'm a little worried, because some of this is stuff I made 10 years ago, so there is a non-zero chance that it totally sucks. There were a lot of covers of Nintendo music that I made. I forgot. I bet you'll recognize this one from just the first few notes. Oh my gosh, there were so many chiptunes on here. I forgot how much I made chiptunes with this. Let's listen to this one, it's short. Okay. Okay, so if you want to get an idea for the era that I was playing this game in and making music in, here's a chiptune cover of Fireflies by Owl City, made in 2010, back when the song was still relatively new. I hope I'm not skirting the line on YouTube Content ID. So in summary, I think WarioWare DIY is poised to dethrone Ableton and FL Studio any day now. And okay, so honestly, I really just wanted to talk about this because I thought it was interesting. You know, at 16 years old, this was one of my first real forays into electronic music production, limited though it might have been. To close off, as a tribute to a song I loved in 2010, as well as now, I'm going to play a WarioWare DIY cover. I'm going to blur out the song title, so let me know in the comments if you recognize it. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to help the channel grow. And with that, music.